Jason, there's a commercial beef project or program on. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, so the program's actually a really large beef genetics program right across New Zealand, working on 5 large commercial farms. And fundamentally the questions that we hear are what's the right sort of cow for hill country, and also how can I select bulls that are going to have calves that finish well, finish quickly, meet market specs, perhaps meet specs in terms of marbling and that for some of the newer programs like Beef EQ and also Angus Pure. And so they are the big questions. But what we want to do in this program is also say, how much does genetics make me commercially on farm? You know, if I invest in genetics, am I going to get a return? How much is that return? How do the tools that we have, so EBVs and genomics, etc., how do they measure up and do they work? And so we want to demonstrate those tools and how we can use those tools. And also in the process of collecting all this data, we'll also get some really useful data that helps us improve the tools. So improve some of the descriptors that we have of cow type, improve fertility predictions, and maybe even develop and demonstrate how we might even use genomics, for example, to help us in commercial heifer selection.
So what you're doing in the commercial area now is what has been done in the stud breeding area for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the program is very focused. It's on 5 commercial farms, and it's really about saying the measurements and that sort of thing that happen in the stud world, which we use to breed better bulls, how do they translate to the commercial world, where cattle are run in extensive conditions, they can have a tough time at times. Do we still get the benefit under those conditions?
Hill country is obviously very different to most stud farms.
Yes, that's true. Although I think a lot of stud farmers would tell you that they do run their cattle commercially, other than generally at calving. So that is perhaps the difference. So in this program, we've just had to design it around a way that will work commercially for these guys. So we don't check calves at calving. We estimate, we scan to get conception date instead of calving date, and use that instead. But yeah, the whole principle of the program is keeping this commercial. I don't ask the farms to do anything that we absolutely don't have to do that isn't commercial, that they wouldn't be doing anyway. Don't ask them to feed their cattle any better than they would normally. So it's really about keeping it commercial.
And you're looking at heavier calves basically, aren't you?
That's one part of it. So today that's all we've got to date is weaning weights on the first drop of calves. So that's what we've been talking about today. But in the future, there's much more to cattle performance than just weight and growth. So in time we will get information on fertility, we'll get information on carcass traits, and then we'll follow those cows right through into the cow herd as mixed stage cows and see how many cows are lasting in the herd, how many cows are dropping out. And that's probably the real true test of which are the right sort of cows for the commercial conditions that we're doing. So if our cows are not suitable, we'll find that they fall out of the herd very quickly, whereas cows by other bulls will last in the herd.
Is there a mixture of AI and natural breeding purposes here?
Yeah, so we bring in, we do an AI program, which is not typical of commercial, but we do it to get genetics from a wide range of recorded and reasonably accurately recorded bulls into the herd so that we can do the genetics from then on. But we also, following the AI program, we back up with the natural mate size that the farm would have on hand anyway. And because we're here measuring the AI calves, we'll also include those bulls in the evaluation and evaluate the natural mate size as well.
Are you happy with the early results?
Yeah, delighted with how things are going so far. The results to date are falling in line as we would expect. Generally what we're finding is what we predict from EBVs, from the EBVs of the bull, we're seeing happen commercially. We're getting a response on weaning weight of the calves, and that actually we can capture the benefit from those bulls commercially. So that really lines up with the objectives. You know, we didn't predetermine the answer, but that's what the answer is showing at the moment.
Now, you're using more than just one breed in this program.
Yep, so we've got 5 breeds in there. We've got Angus, we've got Hereford, and we've got Stabiliser. three sort of maternal breeds, and we've got Simmental and Cherillet in there, which are more terminally sort of breeds. And within those breeds, because within a breed, particularly the maternal breeds, there's a wide range of types, and we've managed to capture everything from probably the more moderate 5% of the breed right through to the very top 1% of the breed in terms of growth, for example. So we've managed to get a really good representation of the full spectrum of those breeds within the project.
Jason, do you have a magic figure that you want to lift our commercial herd to?
I guess I don't think there is such a thing as a magic figure, but certainly, and this is more than just genetics, this is genetics and management, but you know, if our national average weaning rate is about 83%, which it has been for a long time, you know, we can do better than that. I'd like to see that with a 9 in front of it. That's a matter of management and genetics, but certainly genetics has certainly got a role to contribute in there.